What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hands-On channel. I thought it was about time for a change of scenery. We're out here on my land, my 100 acres, and I've got my pup with me here. Let's see if I can get her on camera. Where are you, Chloe? There you are. Hey, Chloe. What are you doing? Hey, Chloe. You want to say hi? You want to speak? Speak. Come on. Chloe. Come on. Tell the people hi. Hey, some people have been asking about you. She doesn't want to do it right now. Anyway, we're out here having a great time on my land, doing a little morel hunt. Sadly, I think I'm a little bit early. Usually it's around Easter time when the morels are really ripe and ready to pick. But this year I'm a little early because the weather's a little warmer. So I thought I'd bring you guys along and we would just chat about who knows what. I've got a lot of stuff on my mind. Trying to get my hand situated here. All right, let's go for a little walk and see what we see. This is one of my ditches. I've actually got two of them that converge right here. Let me turn around, you guys can see it behind me. I've got two ditches that converge right here. Hopefully you can see that. Maybe I need to turn more that way. There we go. And in the past, I've talked to my wife about possibly, you know, one day in the future, once the house is built and my shops and my buildings are all built, maybe I'll build a big pond back here because it'd be perfect for that. It does get some good flow in the springtime. But yeah, that's one of my best places. If you guys are out hunting for morels, that's one of my best places to find them as I get down here in the ditch because I can see pretty much up to ground level over there behind me. And that helps you to be able to see those morels, but I just love them, man. So it's just one of those things. Like I said, I'm not finding as many this year, but I think it's probably two reasons. One, my wife is not here and she's a lot better at finding them than I am. So that's part of it. And two, get the screen back on so I can see what I'm shooting at here. Two, it's a little bit early. We've had unseasonably warm weather going into the spring here this year. And so anyway, it's a lot of fun to be out here, and I thought I'd bring you guys along. Sorry about that sun back there, but when you're walking and talking, you can't really control all of the settings like you could when you're sitting down and you have your camera on a tripod. But yeah, one of the things I want to discuss with you guys is that I've got some commenters that come into my videos fairly consistently, and on one hand, they're complimentary. They're saying, oh man, you're really good at this. And what they're talking about is when I do my political content. Come on, Chloe, down here, let's go. Come on. Good girl, look at her run. Oh man, she's fast. Oh, she's fast. Come on, Chloe. Good girl. Oh, there's the phone call. Every time that I've got my camera running, it never fails that somebody calls me right then. So we're just gonna ignore that for right now and pretend that ringing is not happening. Oh God. And it's hard because when you're doing stuff like I'm doing here, you know, you don't want to be a dick when you answer the phone, but are you serious? Anyway, I don't want to be a dick when I answer the phone, but I swear it never fails. I turn the camera on and my phone starts ringing. And oftentimes it's my wife and she's like, well, how come you didn't pick up my call? And I'm like, well, I'm busy trying to keep my YouTube channel alive against all odds. You know, YouTube is certainly not helping me. But back to what I was saying. I get these people that come into the comments and I appreciate every single comment. So I want to say that up front. Every single one of you that comes in and takes the time to write something, even people that do snarky comments, I usually reply to them because, you know, I had this one guy here recently and all he did after one of my pretty powerful political videos, all he did was he came in and put a bunch of smiley faces, happy, you know, the one that's laughing hysterically or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm not sure what you're laughing at because nothing I was talking about in that video was a laughing matter. And he basically comes back and says, I'm laughing at you. And I'm like, well, that really narrows it down. In other words, are you laughing at my appearance? Are you laughing at my hat? Are you laughing at my glasses? Are you laughing at my big nose? I mean, what's the point if you're going to come in there and try to smear somebody, but then not really go into depth on it? You know, he didn't say, and I went back and forth with the guy a few times. I'm assuming it's a guy, probably a kid. Chloe, come on, let's go. Get over here. Come on. Good girl. Come on. You got to stay close. Anyway, I'm sure it was just a troll, right? I get them all the time, pretty much anytime I make a political video. And so anyway, this person goes back and forth, basically says he's laughing at me, he's laughing because I'm funny or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad I was able to entertain you, but there was nothing funny in that video. So, you know, unless you have something else to say that's going to further the discussion, then, you know, we're done here. And then he came back, he had to get the last word. He came back and said something else snarky. And I said, oh, okay, so you're just an NPC. Or I said, thank you for proving that NPCs exist, are real, you know, something along those lines. And he came back, and it was sort of like, you know, like when you were a kid, right? And you called your sister a fatso or something. Then she comes right back and calls you a fatso because they have nothing original. Hey, get out of my drink. Don't be messing with my drink. I set it down there. But anyway, that sort of stuff's aggravating, but that's not really what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I always love your comments, but I have this one person, I'm not even gonna say the name because I don't know that that's appropriate or not, but they comment on a lot of my videos, right? And I really appreciate them commenting on my videos. The comments actually help to break the algorithm that is stacked against people like me. People that wanna share the truth and share their political opinions, you know, they're getting censored right and left here these days on YouTube. So anyway, this person comes in very consistently. I mean, I must have heard this like 10 or 15 times, and I've actually heard it from multiple people, but this one person is the one that stands out. And they're like, I don't know why you're wasting time doing motorcycle videos or doing whatever kind of how-to DIY videos that I might be doing that day, right? And they're, you know, usually it starts out complimentary because they're like, oh, I really like this video where you're talking about the border or whatever. I really wish you would just do this all the time and not waste your time on motorcycle content and other stuff like that. Well, YouTube would be no fun to me if that's all I did was came on here and bitched about the politics that are going on right now. Because I mean, you know, it'd be unlimited, but I don't want to be that person that all I ever do is bitch and moan about something. That's why in my last video that YouTube heavily suppressed, probably one of the most heavily suppressed videos that I've done lately, was about the border. And probably, you know, I think it was like 10 solutions to solve the border crisis or something like that without building a wall, right? And I had to change the title because I changed the thumbnail, I changed the title. I was getting hardly any traction on that video. I've still only got like 350 or 400 views out of 28 or 29,000 subscribers. And I'm not saying I should have 30,000 views on every single video I put up. I get it. Some people might not be interested in the motorcycle content or whatever, right? Whenever I take a detour and I talk about other stuff, because I need a break from that. So again, I'm not trying to dissuade or discourage anyone from coming in and commenting and making suggestions. I appreciate those suggestions. Hold on a second. I got to call my dog. Chloe, come on. Here she comes. Come on, girl. She's getting a lot better about recall. A few weeks ago, I wouldn't even have let her off the leash over here because she'd have been gone probably forever. But anyway, it's very frustrating when you know, on that last video that I put out, the one about the border and my solutions, I mean, I actually sat down and wrote a script, man. I mean, that stuff isn't like, you know, it isn't, I mean, I'm not trying to say it's the hardest job I've ever done or anything like that, but it's not that I didn't do anything and I just turned the camera on like I'm doing today and just speaking my mind. It's a lot harder when you sit there and you make a script and you think about how you're going to present it in the, you know, in the build up to turning the camera on. You know, and I know it's just YouTubers whining about the same old stuff that everybody else is whined about, but my problem is they've created an unequal playing field where certain opinions and views get heavily promoted on YouTube automatically, and others do not. So part of the reason that I'll be going along and I'll do 4 or 5 prepping and you know, survival scenarios and political comments, and then suddenly I throw a motorcycle video in there. And I know it's a little bit off-putting to some people that only want to hear the politics stuff, but part of the reason that I'm doing that is I'm trying to confuse the algorithm. We're playing against this machine, this robot, this AI, or whatever the hell it is that's been programmed by communists. So I have to do things and speak in a certain way and not touch certain topics because I don't dare touch them, because if I did, my channel would be nuked. Not just demonetized, not just you know, have that one video taken down. They would give me the Steven Crowder treatment or the Alex Jones treatment or something like that, right? They would make it damn near impossible for me to continue to exist doing this. Because, you know, here's the deal. I didn't start out, when I started this channel, I didn't start out with the idea of making money. But as the economy has, you know, gone to shit under Biden's watch, the industry that I work in, the oil field, is practically non-existent in my state, which is an oil-rich state. And it's strictly, directly related to Biden's oil policies, his energy policies, you know? And it's just annoying as hell. And so I'm frustrated oftentimes. There's many times that I can't even make a video because I'm like, man, I'm just gonna say the wrong thing, or I'm gonna, you know, I'm just not gonna care, and I'm gonna nuke my channel. So I'm trying not to do that, but, you know, frankly, I do make a minuscule amount of money on these videos. So I feel compelled to make at least 2 videos. I usually try to make 2 videos a week. It doesn't always work out, but, and I'd like to make more. But the problem is YouTube won't allow me to profit like they do all of their LGBTQ Democrat communist channels. They promote them and push them to the top of the charts. If you don't believe me, go do your own research. Just go click on, I mean, it's frustrating as hell when I see other channels that I can tell they're not putting as much work into it as I am, and they're getting 30 or 40,000 views in 3 or 4 hours, and I put a video up and I get 300 views if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky. If YouTube allows 300 of my people, statistically, it would be very unlikely that out of my 29,000 subscribers, only 300 of them have the notifications turned on. That's unlikely. So I know that it's YouTube doing this. And it's very difficult, guys. We're in a really tight spot. And don't tell me to go to Rumble. I've already been to Rumble, and my channel did even worse on Rumble. So, I mean, I can't break through no matter where I am. And I'm not blaming that on Rumble. I'm blaming that on the fact that, you know, I don't really understand Rumble. I don't even, when I'm uploading the videos, it's totally different than YouTube. It's just a weird deal. I've never made 1 red cent. I think I did make technically a little bit of money, but I have never withdrawn any money from my Rumble channel because it's just so little traction over there. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, come over to Rumble, be over there. I want to see you over there. And frankly, it's just not worth my time to mess with it. The only time I use Rumble or my Rumble channel is when I know something is too hot for YouTube. So anyway, enough of the airing of the dirty laundry. I came out here to have fun, be with my dog. I don't know if you guys can see her over there. She's going up and down the sides. She loves it. She's getting a good workout. We just actually had her fixed like a week ago because I can't have a female dog going into heat. I've got too much stuff going on. And so anyway, just to wrap up what I was talking about with the censorship and, you know, the people coming in and commenting and saying different things like that, and the channel and the future of the channel, I'm not giving up. They're going to have to fire me. They're going to have to run me off. Okay? I'm not going to make it easy on them and just give up. But I have considered changing the channel completely. I've thought before in the past, I've thought, you know, when I was doing how-tos and DIYs, I was making a lot more money. I mean, I can show you guys. Go onto my channel after this video and click on my popular videos. My most popular video is a chainsaw repair video. The second most popular one, I believe, is the generator repair video. So those types of things make me money. So that's one of the reasons that I do that. When you see me putting up a motorcycle video, or you see me putting up a generator repair video, or something that to you may not seem like anything to do with prepping or, you know, the current situation, let me tell you a couple of things right now. It has everything to do with the current situation. I mentioned briefly in passing on one of my last videos that we're having a major water problem at our house, a water leak. Under the slab, it's copper line. They're all going bad systematically, or, you know, right around the same time, it seems like. And I've been slowly changing them one at a time. Well, this one is the worst of all so far because it's actually the line that goes out to my well house. And you know, I'm busy. I've got a whole bunch of spring projects going right now. I haven't even told you guys, I bought a car because somebody that my wife worked with, his daughter was trying to sell a car for really cheap and it needed some work. And I'm like, you know what? I can buy that car and, you know, put a little bit of money and labor into it and flip that and make myself some income in this, what seems like an impossible situation that the Democrats have created here. So, hey, Chloe, come on, let's go. Get over here, stay close. Good girl. Good girl, that's my pup. I haven't even had to use the collar yet. I've got it's, you know, a training collar. Some people call them shock collars, but this thing actually has like 4 different functions. And 2 of those functions are vibrate and beep. So I can actually hit this buzzer, and as long as she's within about, you know, a couple of 100 yards, I can hit that buzzer and she'll come right back to me. So we've been working with that and trying to get the recall down because it sucks trying to walk through the woods with a leash. So anyway, I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but yeah, it's been tough, man. It's been really tough. Oh, I was telling you about my water line problem and my water leak. Let's go over here. I think the lighting might be a little better over here. I was telling you all about that. Hey, Chloe, come back down here. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. So my water line started leaking, and I've got 1,000,001 projects to do right now. So I was actually considering, for the first time in a very long time, I was considering hiring it out and paying somebody. Well, the first guy I had come over told me $6,500 to change the line. And another thing he told me was to get to it, he was gonna have to punch a big ass hole in my foundation through the stem wall and to get to it and to run it through there. And they were gonna bring in a jackhammer and a concrete saw and all this other stuff. And I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of a core drill? And the guy's like, oh yeah, I'm afraid of those. I don't want to use one of those. I'm like, well, hell, I'll go rent one and drill the hole and make it to where you guys can run the line through there. How much would it be then? He was like, oh, probably like 3,500 bucks, something like that. And I'm like, okay, so basically half price. Come on, Chloe, let's go. Basically half price of what he was saying. You know, and they claimed they were going to come in and repair the concrete and all this stuff, but you know, I'm not exactly excited about having my slab cut open. My house is perfectly sound right now, and the last thing I want to do is introduce something that's going to create a, you know, a potential for cracks or something like that in the future. So, you know, for like the past week, when I'm supposed to be working on this little car that I just got, it's a little Mazda 3, 2005 Mazda 3, and I've got a box full of parts sitting in my shop. I was going to make some videos about that some people would bitch about because it's not political, you know. And again, it's like I often feel like no matter what I do, I mean, and I guess it's sort of the same thing with politics. No matter what you do, half the people are pissed off. So if I make political content, half of you are pissed off about that because you don't want to hear political opinions that are outside of your own, you know, narrative or whatever that you've crafted or created, or the mainstream media has crafted or created for you. And I get that. It's offensive to some people. So I've lost people because of that. And then I lose people because I do repair videos and how-tos and DIYs. And, you know, I've thought when I first started doing political content, I thought, you know, maybe I should make a separate channel. Maybe I should make, but you know what? That's a pain in the ass. You know how hard it is just to run one channel? Especially on the peanuts that they're paying me. It's just, and maybe I would break out. Maybe, you know, maybe I wouldn't though. Maybe they would censor me even heavier on the other channel. So, I mean, and the way it stands now, you got to have 1,000 subscribers before they even pay you 1 red cent. So, I mean, if I started a new channel, now I'm starting over at 0. And, you know, I shouldn't have to do that. So I made the decision that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do what I want to do and make the channel how I want to make it. And if people like that, that's great. If they don't like it, so what? I don't care. Because that's how I am in real life. I really don't give a shit what people think about me. that guy that thinks I'm funny or funny looking or say funny things, it's because he doesn't have the mental capacity to actually have a debate about any of these issues. So it's quite frustrating. And you get these people that have the anonymity of YouTube. I don't know who XY2257 is. That means nothing to me, but that's someone's name or whatever on YouTube. So I'm like, that means nothing to me. So it makes it difficult. And it's one of those things that I've been talking about for a long time. It's one of the reasons I'm so anti-text message, is that a lot of times when you write something down in text, it comes out different than it would have if you had written it out or if you'd said it, right? So if I'm standing, I can't give you an example, but there are examples. I'm not thinking of one right now, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. There are times you might, say something that in the way you would have said it and it would have come out of your mouth, it would have been a lot more clear. And certain tics and facial expressions and tones apply to conversation, right? Well, on text messages and on YouTube comments, I can't pick up on any of that stuff. The social cues that we all have to pick up on when people say certain things, right? And so a lot of times I can't tell if someone's joking or if they're dead serious. It creates this situation where I'm like scratching my head going, what does this person even mean? I have no idea. So anyway, that's why it's good for me to get out here on my land. Look at that, man. That's all mine. That's all mine. Nobody can take that from me. Well, unless they want to pry it out of my cold, dead hands. They're not getting it. And I know nobody really owns land because you have to pay taxes, right? And that is true. So anyway, I know we've been all over the place. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm talking mainly to the other creators. How do you deal with this? I've thought before about just ignoring all comments. And what sucks about that is so many of you guys have the best comments and you think about things from a different angle than I would have. And that's wonderful. That's how it's supposed to be, man. But when you have, 50% of the population or more that are just so drunk on the MSM narrative and you can't say anything, or it like puts them into a sense of, an area of like cognitive dissonance where suddenly you're saying things that question the very foundation of everything that they believe in. And I don't know. I think it's wrong. I think a lot of it a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, it does come down to good versus evil, right versus wrong. So anyway, this is good for me to get out here with my dog on my land. Hopefully someday, the economy will recover and the cost of building materials will come down enough to where I'll be able to actually build me a place over here, because that's the dream. I want to be over here all the time. That does bring up some other issues though. I've often wondered, right now where I am, I'm in the suburbs. So I have high-speed internet. What's that going to be like when I get over here and it takes me like, 4 or 5 hours to upload a single video, so I don't know. Hopefully we can get that Starlink or something like that. I think a lot of people really like that, so I don't know if I can afford it though. It sounds like it's pretty expensive. But yeah, it's just been troubling here lately. And my wife said something really powerful. I was talking to her about the water line. I think I already told you guys this, but I'll tell you again, in case you're one of the 28,999 people that didn't see that video. I was telling her, I was like, man, I'm just bummed out about this water thing. I don't need this right now. And that's when we were trying to discuss maybe paying somebody to finish it and to do it for us. but I knew I wasn't gonna get out that easy. That's what sucks, man, is when you're a guy like me and you can do these things. When people tell you these prices and they're just freaking outrageous, you're like, no, I'll do it my damn self. And so what ends up happening is I get this massive backlog that I can never really get out of. And I guess if I was out of it, that'd mean I was dead. So I've got so many projects going, probably too many. Getting a good little workout here. You guys are probably wondering why I'm huffing, but I walked up a couple of pretty big hills just then, and I'm an old guy, so that's why. Not really. You know, I think age is a state of mind, in my opinion. I don't feel a day over 29 years old. So anyway, we come out here, we have fun, we collect our thoughts, and you know, we try to keep going, because I know without a shadow of doubt, the number one things the enemies are trying to do is get people like me to give up. That's why they do my videos the way they do. That's why when you search for the Hands-On channel online, you have to actually type the entire channel name out. It's just unreal. Unfreaking real. Well, what's so unreal is that we tolerate this bullshit. That's what really pisses me off. Looks like I need to come down here and do a little bit of trail maintenance. If nothing else, I need to get my four-wheeler and my motorcycle over here and blast around on it for a while. We put us a happy little swing in over here. Hopefully I'm pointing to that. This is a really nice little area right here that my wife and I plan to camp in the future. That's why it's kind of cleared out like this. And we've got the happy little swing for our nieces and nephews when they come over. Give them something to do. And they all seem to like hiking around in the woods. I know that was one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid, was just go out there, you know, maybe with one of my friends or even by myself sometimes, and just, you know, kind of get lost in the woods. Not literally, but, you know, having a good time. I think we'll pause here for a minute and finish up the video. So yeah, I know there's all kinds of crazy shit going on in the world right now. We got this guy, Joe Biden, run us off the cliff, man. I mean, what are you gonna do? And you know, a lot of this stuff is, you know, it's outside the scope of what normal people like me and you can do anything about, other than coming on YouTube and bitching about it, you know? And I think it's pretty important to make this point right here at the end of this video, is that today the Supreme Court is deciding the fate of people like YouTube. They're basically deciding whether or not the federal government has the right to use persuasion or suggestions to these social media companies to ban people like me that they claim are spreading disinformation, when in reality, all I'm doing is offering you an alternative viewpoint, the other side, which under Biden's regime has been labeled domestic terrorists. You know, white nationalists, white supremacists, all this stuff that he's tried to do. This is catastrophic for a democratic republic like the United States of America, especially considering that we only have realistically a two-party system. So, you know, and I posted something on my community site a couple of days ago, and it was basically like, hey, the Democrats and the Republicans, they all hate you. And, you know, some guy came in and was like, oh, well, not the Republicans, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you something. I am a registered Republican, but not in the way that these people are. Not like Mitt Romney, not like Dan Crenshaw, not like, you know, any of these people, not like, what's her name, Cheney, Dick Cheney's daughter. not like those people. I'm like a constitutional republic, foundational, founding principles kind of a guy. I like conservatism, classical Republican conservatism. And it appears that we're losing a lot of those people out of the Republican Party, and that does worry me. And what's really weird is my wife and I were talking about this a couple of days ago, was that I did not expect, when Trump won in 2016, I did not expect him to do nearly as well as he did, or be nearly as good for liberty-loving Americans as he was. Is Trump a conservative? I don't know, but he does a lot of stuff that helps the conservatives, so I'll take it. Out of the two we have to choose from, Trump gets my vote 100% of the time. So anyway, guys, I think I've rambled on enough here, and hopefully I've given you guys a good look at our trail network here, and maybe entertained you for a few minutes. If you like the video, hit me up in the comments, maybe hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. I know it's pretty hard to do. You have to actually reach over there and click that little button and hit the thumbs up. If you don't like my videos, hit the thumbs down, come down in the comments, we'll have a debate about it. You can talk to me. I would love to have a conversation and be able to literally reach across the aisle and have debates with people, but I'm afraid that time in American history is now gone. That chapter is now over. I don't know. It just seems that way. It seems like we're at such an impasse that you can't talk to people that are on the opposite side of big issues like abortion, right? Because I can't compromise with someone that is committing murder, because to me, abortion is murder. So there is no compromise in a situation like that. The border being open. I mean, I can't tell you, I forgot to mention in my border video how for the first year and a half or 2 years, everybody in the Biden administration denied that the border was even open or that there was even a crisis going on. I mean, these people are gaslighting the hell out of the American population. And I can't stand idly by and allow that to happen. So if that means that I only get 300 or 400 views on my political videos, then so be it, because I feel compelled. Something inside of me, my patriotic core, tells me that I have to do this for not only the people that I love, but for you guys and for my children and all of our, future Americans that may come after us. I think we should leave them with something better than what we got, right? I think we should leave them with less debt, not more debt. So anyway, guys, again, that's enough of a ramble for today, and I guess we'll just leave the video with this. That's enough said. I stand for liberty. I hope you do too.